Hey, DeRacers. So it's been, I think, just shy of 2 weeks since we've been able to put out a video. DeRace, you might have noticed they're also a little bit quiet on Discord, and there's just been so much going on. What we wanted to do is to put this video to focus on what the builders are building, because there's a lot of stuff that's going on. And for those of you that aren't on Discord 8 hours a day because you have a life outside of DeRace, good for you. We just wanted to share with you so you could get a quick or just be able to understand what's going on. So first of all, let's start with what DeRace has been doing. We were fortunately a part of the testnet, and it was a pretty exciting experience to go through. The initial thing that I took away when I saw everything that they've done is I was kind of surprised that DeRace did not take more credit for everything that they've been building. We all are very quick to criticize, like, where is this and when is this? But we had no idea, or I especially had no idea, how much of the game was going to get overhauled. So when we got access to testnet, when I went in there, I had kind of a whoa moment where I realized I didn't expect them to touch that. Like, everything felt different, even though it's the same game. Did you have a similar initial?
I think for me, like you said, when you first stepped into the testnet space, there was a different vibe, a different sense of what the structure and the design was going to be. And so you saw different imagery used, different color patterns, different structure. You can even see it here in this screenshot where there's, these purples and other kind of deep colors that are used and vibrant colors that are used. And then one thing that's obvious from this image as well is they started to go to a little more of a boxy shape with stuff. You've got more content running horizontal and not just one row of stuff and then all of your content top to bottom. So you're packing a lot more into the same amount of square footage there on the screen. So that was something that really caught me. And the other element that caught me really quickly was entering your races, which I don't think we have a screenshot of that, but the structure looks similar to this when you're choosing the race that you're going to be entering, where you've got a lot of information to sift through on what track you're going to be going into. We've gotten very used to being able to really quickly hit this track, sign up and pick your horse and go. And that has changed a little bit. So there's some stuff that's going to take a minute to get used to, but overall, I think the design was pretty cool to see.
Yeah. There was some learning curves that I thought I had to with. You might have, bear with us when you get into it, when they finally release this, it's very well could be a little bit different from what we experienced, because we gave a ton of feedback. All the testers were very active in there. But you have to relearn a few things, like how to turn your sugar into chests and keys and to go where and what to do. You exchange them, you get them, then you go into your wallet, you combine them, then it turns into inventory, and then you have that in your wallet. And when you go to your stable, you'll have your inventory section and you could see everything that you have. But when we want to equip it on the horse, you go to the horse itself, and then when you hover over each of these images, it has a plus sign, you click on it, and then if you have a part that can get equipped, you'll see a modal that appears, and you just select which one it is. But the other thing too that's really important to note about this is that the number up here where you see next to Dorma is level 3. And let's say that you buy a chest and you have a level 4 saddle, you cannot equip it on this horse. So you have to get your horse's values up. So this is going to change the strategy quite a bit. I think that this is going to bring a level of usability to fringe horses. So you can do sugar harvesting. You can do what you can to get more gear, but the horses that have the highest levels are going to be the ones that are going to be able to get the highest quality items.
I think it's also important to note that the wearables can be shifted from horse to horse. So as we were testing, we were able to get, say, a level 4 saddle, like your example, but you might then eventually work your way up to getting a level 8 saddle. And so you may swap out the 4 with the 8, and now you can put the 4 on another horse. So for those of you that have maybe multiple fringe horses like me, I've got a bunch of horses where I'd never race them. But with wearables, eventually my champions that are getting rid of these good wearables that are not quite as good as the ones they've now got, I can start putting on my mid-level horses and hopefully see them get better as well.
Yep. Now, when it comes to the new players, the guys that don't have an enormous stable, like some of the guys in the game, I think it's going to be really difficult if you have 20 plus horses to achieve your daily, weekly, and monthly missions. I don't see that possible without having advanced logic in a bot. But if you only have 1, 2, 3 horses, I think you're going to find that it's going to level the playing field a little bit, because if you're only focused on a few horses, I think it's going to be really easy to achieve these individual missions. But I think that the guys with huge stables, my guess is that they're going to focus on their top horses, and then the rest of them are just going to get ran and hope that they pick up experience and sugar that they could use collectively.
Yeah, I think there's that, as well as, some of these guys that have really good horses, you're not going to be running them on some of the daily missions, right? Or even weekly missions, because there's some things out there that are asking you to do things that your horse can't do.
Yep.
And so the question is, are you going to trade off, spending DERC to end up with additional sugar? Well, for some people, they're not going to do it with their best horses, but they may have it with a second, third, fourth horse that will basically be doing all the work to get the gear for the upper level horse.
Exactly. And then we did not get a chance because testnet was only a short period of time and we didn't have all the data. These were horses that we don't own. So when we were equipping things, I was trying to do a little bit of experimentation, but realistically, we just didn't get enough data points, or I especially didn't, to be able to find out what impact does speed, what impact does stamina have on a horse. Because if you don't know if the horse already is fast or not, it's hard to see what change took place. The one thing that did stand out is if anybody reads it, the word focus is used now going forward. And we learned that focus has a lot to do with reaction, which now makes us think even more that reaction has a lot more than just maybe the milliseconds out the gate. But that's a different video. More research needs to be done.
Absolutely. And on here too, you can see in their example that one of those wearables has a level 60.
Yep.
We were informed that I believe it can go up to a level 80. So there's going to be a lot of racing needing to be done to get your horse into the top gear that's even available.
Yep. The last thing to share with you, one of my favorite things about testnet was the names. And unfortunately, they're dumping some of them. But the names that they had some generator that made it, and they were just hilarious.
That's my absolute favorite, the arrogant coffee baboon. So we'll see if they end up keeping them. We suspect that they'll drop some of those, but It was pretty entertaining in the testnet to get to do that.
So DeRace, they're still head down. It's hard to get a response out of them right now. I think that they're trying to just expedite this, and seriously, kudos to them. The team did a great job from what we saw. Really excited to see testnet come to a conclusion, but that's not it. So switching over to what DERC Army's been working on, they came out with recently the DeracesStats.com website. And this is just another cool tool, more examples of what the community is doing to build this. There's a lot you could do here. The leaderboard will show you which horses have the most collective wins, so any podium placement. And then also down here, if you want to do a lookup for a horse. So if I grab, of course, let's go with my Skondert. Select my horse. And then the thing that I like about this most is for the breeding elements. I haven't got a chance to do an enormous amount of digging around, but this is a pretty cool website from what I'm seeing them build. This will show you the stats on the horse so you can get a sense of where it performs, but it's more visual. My favorite part is the lineage. So when you click on the lineage, you could see all the foals that Skondert has bred. I should say all the donkeys.
Skondert's definitely been sleeping around. So
oh, he definitely does. And so this has been kind of fun. So if you have a Gen 1 and you're trying to look for the lineage of it, you'll be able to look this up. It just gives a really quick family tree. And then as you see each of these, you can click on those horses, and it's going to give you a really fast lookup. Whereas historical tools required us all to just manually type in the numbers. And this is just expediting the process. So just kudos to DERC Army and the team that's built this. I really like this site for what it is.
Yeah, that's a really cool tool that's been worked on probably for a very long time. And if you missed it, make sure you take a look at that, because it was teased while we're in the middle of a lot of different things happening in the DERC Army right now, especially with Season 3 happening. So make sure you get over there and take a look at the DeracesStats.com site.
Yep. And then on top of that, switching over to another cool feature. This is the Deal Finder bot that's in Dirk Army's Discord. This was built by OXG of SMR. And this is one of the coolest additions I have seen. If you've ever bought a horse or if you've ever shopped for a horse on Open Seas, you probably have to go through and adjust the tier to pick which horse. You have to go through and make sure you pick if it's mare or stallion. Then you have to find which ones you're willing to buy. Then you have to go look up the IDs. Then you go put them in an analytical tool to see if the horse is any good. All of those require steps. Whereas here, what's freaking awesome about this is you can come in and you can put in just a couple different commands. I think it's exclamation help will show you what the default commands are. But I literally bought a horse this morning by saying I want a Gen 0 Stallion Beta. And when I pulled up my results, I saw 9 horses. I saw the prices of all 9 horses. I saw the IDs of all 9 horses. I then immediately chugged them into our analytical tools. Then I found an incredible horse at a steal of a deal. And I went there and I snagged it very quickly. And this, I just think, is such a cool tool. If you're in the market to buy a horse, I would not recommend using anything other than this. I start here. It's going to filter your time so much better. So kudos to OXG for this and Dirk Army for putting it out there.
Yeah, there's a lot of different elements to filtering that are incredible, and you can see a lot of different data sets for that horse. You even said that you plugged the ID into our own analytical tools, but they have their own built into this as well, where you can see its weighted win percentage and different things like that, and be able to see whether or not it's a horse that's targeting the tracks that you want, or it may be an unraced horse, and you're able to see that that's the case, or you can filter all of them by that as well.
Yep. So then this one, they're looking up, I had already bought that horse, so it's not for sale anymore. But for example, here they go to sales 2553, and this is going to quickly pull up some of the generic stats. So again, you don't even have to leave the Discord. You can just stay here and get that quick view. And it's just spectacular. Then as you hone into it, it just making it easier and easier. The clunkiness that we all saw months ago, it's just getting so smooth. So I'm very, very pleased with that. And then to transition from one bot to another, if you haven't been seeing us on Twitter, we haven't built in a bot, as you probably have heard, but we got our graphics design. And so we have created a night mode and a day mode. The night mode seems to be the crowd favorite, but this is a sense of just what the bot is going to look like. To give you just a quick run through, we want to be able to have multiple different horses, have unique presets. So if you're doing research or discovery, if you have a specific profit style, or if you have a competition mode, we want to have the ability to add unique presets. So that way you don't have to delete your history or your strategies. You can just toggle them on and off. We want to be prepared for multiple furlongs. New furlongs. So we go all the way from 2 to 16. You'd be able to select the different hippodromes if you want to stay focused on others. But our goal here is, again, to bring a very economical bot to the market. We're looking for ways of generating revenue. So there might be ad placements. There's going to be some different tiers where we can use to monetize the system. But our goal is to then develop more, maybe make some like mission harvesting style bot applications so we can make the bots even work better for you. So it's not just profitability on the track, but it's helping you get maximum sugar. But there's so much that can come from there.
And those are some really advanced features that we're going to want to add into a premium version of our bot. But we can't say this enough. We've said it to a lot of you. You know that our goal is to get this type of tool, a bot, into as many hands as possible for those that want to use it. What we want to make sure is that you can race and understand your horse as quickly as possible, and not have to worry about, oh, well, I can only get into a handful of races every Saturday because that's all my free time that I have. Like, you can actually get to know your horse faster. And what's so important about that is we know we're not that far away from other elements that are going to be in the game. We've got invite only races. We've got tournaments that are going to be coming out. We've got some of the stuff that's already happening with seasons where we need to add a level of parity across all users, give everybody the ability to race as much or as little as they want. The bot will have that capability. You can select the exact hippodrome, the exact distance, the exact price point that you want to pay. You don't have to run all distances all the time.
Yep.
You can run a very targeted thing. So it's going to be incredibly powerful for those that know exactly what their horses are good at, but also really powerful for those that are new that need to get to know their horse so that they can get ready for things like tournaments in the future.
Yep. And we want to make sure too, if somebody's new to the game, they show up, they spend $100, $200, they buy themselves a horse. We don't expect them to drop a tremendous amount of ETH to go ahead and race this horse. We're trying to target as cheap as possible and then allow it to scale. So if you're showing up with 1 or 2 horses, we want to give you the cheapest option. But if you're showing up with 50, 100 horses, then yeah, you're showing us that you have a lot more skin in the game. You're going to be generating more revenue. We want to give you more advanced features, but we want to build that and make sure that it's fair across the board.
Yep.
The other thing that we worked on is we've been asked a lot about where can we find information. We have our team. We have our own YouTube Discord. We're just all over the place. So we decided to go ahead and to build a website. And so we went out and got DeRacers.world. So no .com, that is the URL, DeRacers.world. It is the world in which we function. It has everything about what we do. As you scroll down, you could see exactly that. What do we do? There's links to our analytical tools. Of course, you can get this on Discord of multiple different places. But if for some reason you're not on Discord and you wanted to look up some stats, if you just remember our URL, you can get it from there. Of course, you're seeing our show, so our YouTube channel. Sprints I'm going to touch on shortly. Bot updates, and eventually when we have the bot available for everybody, you'll be able to get it from here. We have a lot that will be sneaking in the coming probably weeks, months about the Derby that we're planning on hosting starting next year. And if you want to get to know some of the guys that are on our DeRacers Elite Racing team, you can go there and see some more. But what I wanted to focus now is on sprints. So we are really excited about this because DERC Army is doing such a great job with these big team events. Everybody gets super focused. And then in between seasons, there's sometimes a little bit of a lull. And we wanted to make sure that there is an opportunity to help small teams compete, get interest, and recruit. And so we're hosting what we're calling these sprints. And the very first sprint is going to be between Stone Motherless Racing and Beard Bear Black Types. And so their event,
fast.
yeah, you can't. So you can see the timer, 4 days, 16 hours, 53 minutes from this moment of recording. Those two are going to be battling it out. And if you want to watch, you can come up here in the top. You'll see that there's a sprint scoreboard, and that's going to bring you to this page. And this is going to be live updating. You can see that, again, this is a timer when the event goes live, and then there's going to be a new timer when the event goes down. And the way that this game works, the rules are on the site, but the 3 or 2 teams are going to have one dedicated horse that's going to race dirt 3s. And the 2 of them are going to race 10 times. Each team is going to have a dedicated horse. So Vindaloo and Bella, Bella are going to be running synthetic 9s 10 times. And we're waiting for the 3rd one from the SMR going against Tachi on turf 10s. So we're going to take the top 10 or the first 10, average them out, and the team that wins that or has the best average is going to get a point. Minimum 2 points will win it. And then for this event, we're going to be paying out 200 DERC to the winning team. We're not asking for any entry fee at this time. This is something that we're hoping to be able to recycle back into the community. So bot revenue, hopefully we can get sponsorship revenue. We want to be able to give back, boost these prizes. And then as we get teams becoming more and more competitive, we're going to probably have bigger entry fees, bigger prizes, bigger sponsorships, just more concentrated events. But if this is something that you're interested in, if your team wants to compete, we're not trying to put the small guys with the big guys. We're trying to put it as fair as we can. If you have a buddy that you want to settle a score and you'd like to do it in a sprint, let us know. Just shoot us a message on Discord. We'd be happy to add you to it. But next week, it's going to be BBB versus SMR. It's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, I don't have anything to add to that. I was just going to say, let's get excited. We're only a few days away from being able to see the first sprint.
Right on. All right, guys, if you have any other questions, just hit us up. But yeah, stay tuned for more information. But the builders, man, we got a good thing building out there. Like, there's so much cool stuff coming. Just hang in there. It's going to get great.